Good morning, Angie.
Good morning.
Angie Kessler.
Yes.
The mysterious lady who sends these beautiful, beautiful messages to us, not only on listserv, but for campus reasons too. And I don't believe many of our sisters know who Angie is. So when did you come to the Adrian campus?
Well, I came here to the Adrian campus as the Director of Communications at the end of July 2016.
And what have you learned in
What have I
a
learned?
year?
What have I not learned in the past year? This is just such a beautiful place to work. Not only the campus itself being as beautiful as it is, but the people are absolutely beautiful as well. And I have learned so much about the Adrian Dominican congregation and the ministries and all of the wonderful things that have come before, and all of the wonderful things that are happening now with our great leadership and the women in ministry and what they're doing for people all over the world.
Had you known about the Adrian Dominicans before you came?
Yes, I did, somewhat. I had a limited knowledge. When I graduated from college a few years ago, I started working as a reporter for the Daily Telegram here in Adrian.
Okay.
And I covered religion for the newspaper.
Oh, my heavens.
So I did cover the Adrian Dominicans a little bit. And I got to know Carol Denise Koenig, and I also met Sister Anthonita Porta at that time. And I have to tell you, when I first wrote a story about St. Joseph Academy and the Montessori program that Sister Anthonita was starting, I didn't even have a boyfriend at the time, but I knew my children would be going there someday. And they did. And all of the sisters that I met through that time when I lived here previously, I just had this sense of just the joy and the calm and the wonderful work that all of the sisters do.
Yes.
But I didn't know that many. I didn't know the scope of the ministries of the sisters. And now that I'm here as communications director, I am amazed at how much more there is to this congregation than I knew from just living here in Adrian.
It probably makes your position exciting. I mean, your day to day, because it changes. I mean, you don't know what's going to come across your desk, correct?
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
That's right. I can walk in with a list. You know, they say when you make plans, God laughs. I think the Adrian Dominicans do too. I'll come in with an idea of what I'd like to accomplish for the day, and there are many days that list gets put aside and other priorities come on top of that.
Well, I remember calling you saying, are you the one that initiates these wonderful statements about our stand for social justice and for options for the poor? And your response really touched me. Do you remember what you said?
Well, I don't remember exactly what I said, but what I do know is nothing comes from an individual in this organization. Everything we do is done as a team.
Wow. And you have a nice team yourself in the
I
communications.
have, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel blessed every day to be able to work with the people that I
Very
work
talented,
with.
such as.
Yes. So we have Sister Barb Kelly, who is our writer. We have Sheila Wathen is the assistant director for communications.
And what is her specific focus?
She concentrates quite a bit on our websites. We have a number of websites that we help with, whether it's the public Adrian Dominican website. We also have the community website, and we also work with the Weber Center website.
Oh my.
So
Right, yes.
she has the technical abilities to make sure those all stay running and efficiently, and make sure they're updated. And then we have Ashley Levine, who is our social media specialist, and so everything that has to do with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn.
She's got it.
She's got it, and starting on Snapchat a little bit too.
Oh, my.
Just putting our toes into the water,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak. And then we have Jessica Havens, who is our graphic designer, who is probably the most talented graphic designer I've worked with, and I feel so lucky that we were able to get her onto staff here too.
Well, word has gone around, I'm sure, because she's swamped right now, I bet.
Yes, she is, and that's pretty much a daily
Yes.
occurrence. And we all have requests like that all the time, because we do have such a talented group of people that we're working with. And what I really find encouraging is we all see it not so much as a job, but just like the sisters, it is our ministry to help the sisters get their message out to the rest of the world.
And your immediate supervisor?
Elise Garcia.
She's a chapter, the council liaison, correct?
Yes, she is.
Yes. Could you share with the listening audience here, most of our sisters, they love hearing about the co-worker's life. Could you share what Ashley Levine and Scott recently did? They took a little trip and share the ministries that they focused on.
Yes, so one of the works that we do is we work with the development office, and what we have been working with them for the last couple of years is their year-end development appeal. And so last year, Ashley, Scott, and I visited 3 ministries in this region. We went to Flint and Detroit and created several videos from those
wonderful.
to help support the year-end appeal. So after we had so much success with that last year, not only in the production of the pieces, but we did see an increase in giving at the end of last year. We had the idea that we'd like to go beyond this immediate region of Adrian and Southeast Michigan. So I asked and received in the budget to be able to have Scott and Ashley expand that so we could tell the stories of ministries beyond our area. So they spent a week, just a few weeks ago, they spent a week touring the Midwest and visited several different ministries in Chicago and in Kentucky. And so again, we'll be producing videos for the year-end appeal that show our sisters in mission and ministry. So I know they came home with lots of wonderful stories from both the sisters who minister in all of those places, but also to the people that are recipients of those ministries and who are able to improve their own lives through the different ministries we have.
Angie, you sound like you've been with us 15 years.
Well, it's amazing because I felt so comfortable the minute I walked in the door here. And it did help that I had a little bit of previous experience with the Dominicans, not only when I was a reporter here with the Daily Telegram, but sometime after that, from 98 to 2001, we had moved away from Adrian, and then we came back again. And from 98 to 2001, I was the marketing and development person for St. Joseph Academy Montessori Children's House. So I was on campus for 3 years in that capacity. Now, I didn't know the sisters a whole lot from that work, but I was certainly familiar with the sisters. And
Was Sister Anthonita living at that time?
yes, she was.
Yes.
And she didn't work directly at the school anymore, but she came in and did a number of workshops and on brain and the study that she had done on brain development.
We miss her.
Yes, she was an absolutely amazing woman.
Do you live in Adrian now?
I do not. So after I left the academy, I started working in Toledo, and my children were, I think, probably 7, 5, and 3 at the time, or roughly.
Yeah.
And so the commute was a solid hour each way, and it just was not real good for our family. So we moved to Temperance, Michigan, couldn't leave Michigan.
No.
And that is where we still live now. We've been there for about 15 years.
Oh, how beautiful. Yes, great.
And now my children are 22, 19, and 17, so they don't need me as much as they did back then. And
Are they fascinated by what you do here on campus, or do you think they truly understand?
Well, I think they have some understanding, and I do share stories with them about some of the different things that we do here in communications and what the sisters are doing on campus. I do have one son who is very interested in the environment and sustainability, so we get into some really great conversations when I go home and talk about, as you mentioned, some of the statements that we are releasing on behalf of the congregation, and we discuss those, and we have some great conversations around the dinner table.
And what is your husband involved in?
My husband is an editor for, he works for a publishing company that has magazines for the RV business, manufacturing industry, and campground industry. And so we met as writers at the Daily Telegram and have...
the rest is history.
The rest is history, so they say. Yes.
Oh, that's great. What a joy, because you understand what each other is about.
Yes.
Well, dear heart, thank you so much. And I know the women here in Maria are grateful for your communication and for your presence here. And they'll know you even more now. Yes.
And I'm very grateful to be here and to be a part of the ministry of the congregation.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place to work, is it not?
It is. One of the things that I learned early on in my career is that the skills I have can be used anywhere. But I learned very quickly that it's more about the people you work with that really makes a job satisfying and one that you want to stay in. And I certainly have found that here more than any other place I've worked.
One thing I'm very jealous about is you know the news before we do.
That has always been a benefit of being a journalist.
And are there secrets you have to keep?
I can't say.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you for all you do for us. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure I'm speaking in all our sisters' name, especially our council members. Yes, because they depend on you for getting the word out.
Well, I'm grateful to be able to be here to support everything that the congregation does.
Thank you so much.